When it comes to landing a photo shoot and nailing it, I think of it in 3 different acts, let's say, 3 sections. There's stage 1, which is pre-shoot, everything that happens leading up to the photo shoot. And then there's stage 2, which is the actual photo shoot itself. Stage 3 is what happens after the shoot. Today we're gonna talk about the stage 1, pre-shoot. I'm on my way out to a shoot. It's about 100 miles from my house. It's out at the coast. The weather, I don't know if you can see it, but it's cold, it's rainy, and it's gonna be more of that at the coast. So the 3 things I think of pre-shoot, I'm getting ready, leading up, the days leading up to, the hours leading up to a shoot. There's 3 things that I really get it boiled down to that are fully within your control. First is weather. Now, obviously, controlling the weather is not in our control, but controlling what we bring to prepare for the weather is in our control. So the weather is something you should totally be prepared for, because it's miserable to go out in this cold, rainy weather and shoot all day and be freezing and like cold down to the bone. That sucks. But what sucks more than that is when you don't have warm clothes to either change to during the day, throughout the day. Maybe you have a big break or something like that, but especially on your drive home, when the shoot is done, you want to be able to get out of that sucky clothing and into something a lot more comfortable, which is why you see me in a fleece and I'm cozy in some sweatpants here. I have more in the back. So weather's number 1. Number 2, pre-shoot, in your control, winning, the winners. You want to look at the client, especially if it's a new client that you've never worked with before. You want to look at what they've been shooting. What are the last 3 months of ads that they have, either on their social media or their website, wherever you find their ads? What do those look like? What do they have in common? What are the common looks that they see, that you see in the models on there? Because of all the models that auditioned and all of the shots that they shot, those are the ones that they selected. Those are the winners. So you have your opportunity to really dial in what you should kind of be honed in on with your core of, let's say, poses or looks or whatever it may be. So you've got weather, and then you've got winners. Lastly, the third for the pre-shoot prep, the stage 1 prep for your photo shoot, is going to be your waiting. So many times I have been on a shoot with multiple models and they show up late. I'm sitting there waiting, I'm reading a book, I'm doing whatever it is that I'm doing, and I'm waiting because I'm there early. That's great, that's ideal, that's what you want, and here's why. Let's say you're a pretty good model, right? Let's say you're a good model. If you show up late, you already have a strike against you, and that's gonna be boiling in everybody's mind, because it's like being a doctor where you have a set number of patients in the day. If patient number 1 is late, then it's a rolling effect, dominoes. Every other patient after that is late, which means you're behind all day long. So you show up early, the producer, the photographer, everybody, the client is like, oh cool, that's one less thing they have to stress about, is are they gonna be here on time? Are we gonna get started on time? Because they try to pack in a lot of things in a short amount of time in that day or in those days. So when you get comfortable waiting and you show up early, bring a book, bring whatever. In this day, you can get audiobooks. You can, I mean, if you're not into books, a lot of people, I don't like to read, get an audiobook that is something that you love. If you love comedy, get a funny comedy audiobook. If you love sports, get a sports audiobook, something that you're interested in. But there's no excuse for you to show up late. And that's the thing. Nobody's gonna entertain those excuses. You can show up, oh, there was an accident, this happened over here, that happened over there. There's no excuse that anybody is really gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, it's totally cool. They might act like it, but they're not really cool with you being late. So just get comfortable waiting. Get comfortable showing up early. And if you show up early and you kill it on the shoot, you just skyrocket in their book. That's how much showing up early or making the client and everybody else wait impacts things, because you could be even just average in your ability to model, but if you're early, then you bump up in their score, in their playbook, their priorities book. If you're average and you show up late, then you're pretty much dropping off of their book this person in the future book. So those are the 3 things. Remember this, that for pre-shoot prep, weather, make sure you are packed and prepared for whatever weather is going to be like where you're shooting. This goes for indoor as well. A lot of times you go somewhere to shoot and you're like, oh, it's indoors, I'll be good. But they might have the heat way up, so you'd want layers, or they might have the AC on and it's so cold, or maybe the AC's broken and nobody knows it until you show up on set. Just be prepared for that. Whatever the weather is, make sure you look into that. Winners, make sure you look at the recent winners for that brand. See what they're doing, what their looks are, and how the whole vibe is for what that brand is going for lately. And lastly, waiting. Get comfortable waiting. Get yourself there early. You're going to be feeling damn good when you're there early. The stress goes down. Everybody's feeling better. You got this. I'll see you on set.